trimming fat, being more principled on what I want out of this hobby. And it just got to the point where a lot of things didn't really make sense.
Physical media is dead, everybody. Even your avid video game collector mystic doesn't even see the concept of it, man. Because you know why, man? Because these games on the wall only mean something if it has some form of an impact in your life. And let me explain, man. Because even I just stopped buying video games, man. I'd be waiting for discounts. I'd be picking them up for $20 to $30. Because you know why? Because these games ain't worth anything. I'm sorry, man. As much as you guys want to go out there and collect these video games, 99.9% of the gamers that play nowadays do not care about how big your collection is. It is what it is, man. And I think that's something that a lot of collectors have forgotten. Okay? Yeah, some of these games might be good, but let's understand what got us into the hobby in the first place. Not by buying a game and putting it on a shelf, playing it. And I just think that's something that has been forgotten in the gaming community. And like I said, I have a lot of games, probably more than Mystic, but still, even I've kind of widened down. Now, mind you, I don't need to sell what I've already purchased, but I just said, you know what? Let me put the brakes on it, be happy and fulfilled with what I have already, and just be happy. I don't see the concept of having to buy all these different versions and variations of games. I just don't see the concept of it anymore, especially when you can emulate probably 90% of the games that is on this man's shelf already. I'm saying, man, you guys got to get back to what makes gaming important, which is playing video games.
With the collection updates, where that too is a 10 to 20 minute blabberfest of me showing you all the things that I bought lately to go into the library. Though, there's been a handful of times
where... See, but the problem is, though, but if you ask somebody a question, right, about why is this your favorite game, you probably can't even answer it. See, this is the problem with video game collecting. When we collected games, we enjoyed those titles. Matter of fact, my first copy of Ocarina of Time was the gray cartridge, but I loved the game so much that I decided to get the gold one. See, that's how important gaming was to us. There was some form of passion in the things that we're purchasing. But if you fast forward to 2025, you got people picking up games like Poop Slinger for thousands of dollars just because it's rare. It's a high commodity. Games like this don't come around every day. Are you serious? I get it, some games will be more expensive than others, but come on, bro. Thousands of dollars for a game called Poop Slinger? Oh, because it's discontinued and you can't buy it no more. Why would you want to buy that game anyway? The game sucks. See, this is the problem with video game collecting. You got games that are priced at $5 that are way better than a game like Poop Slinger, but people would rather spend more money on that than to actually build some form of a solid collection of games that they can actually enjoy while they're playing video games. That's the whole point of having a gaming library. It's like if you had a library of books and all the books that you had on the shelf were expensive, but ain't none of them you want to read. Then you have to ask yourself, what is the point of even having these books in the first place? That's like saying, oh, I got a music collection of CDs, and yet I don't like listening to any of the music. I think you guys have completely lost the plot in regards to video game collecting.
Comes up, and I'm like, I don't really care for big box collector's editions. Or I like TPS whenever Sony does a really special limited edition DualSense. And it's like, that design looks cool or not cool, or whatever the case is. Even when they look really nice, it's like, oh, cool. I'm just not really, I don't care to buy extra controllers anymore because you can only ever use one at a time.
Yeah, and the problem is the fact that, you know what it is, Mystic? I hope he does see this video. I'm not trying to completely clown on this dude. I'm just trying to use this as a form of reference for people that do have pretty big video game collections. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I think he started to realize that he looked back, he woke up one morning, looked at all the games in his wall and said, you know what? I got a lot of fat here. I don't even play 90% of the games on the wall, but I picked them up because they're rare, or I thought that they meant something. Games share a sentimental value, okay? Regardless of the game, if somebody doesn't like the game, if it's in your collection and you like to play it, therefore it does serve a purpose and a value. You can look at that, you pick up that cartridge, and it's like, man, you just remember all the good times of when you had playing it. That's what video game collecting came about, right? Nobody was just collecting a bunch of bad games or a bunch of trash shovelware that happened to be discontinued. We all picked up games in forms of collecting. Matter of fact, I would say we all picked up games that we enjoyed, which end up building into a collection of games that we actually enjoyed. Now you have people, and funny thing is, and I'm saying it because I was also responsible for doing the same thing, picking up games, more likely it just sits on the shelf, and then you think that maybe one of your friends one day will play it, but all they do is play NBA 2K and Grand Theft Auto. So what is the point? You start saying to yourself, all I'm doing is wasting money. You know, I had to come to the realization, like it got to the point, right, where I was buying 3 different versions of the same game on different platforms. I'm not doing that no more. I'll just pick the game up. I more likely will opt out for the Switch version because it is portable and I can play it on there. And that's it. And if I like the game so much, I'll play it on the big boy consoles, on the PS5 or the Series X. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to the point where I bought I got like 3 or 4 physical copies of Marvel Arcade Classics, but yet every time I play the game, it's the digital version. So I don't understand. Like, I mean, if you think about it, physical media really serves no purpose.
Even in the best case scenario of having 2, 3, 4 players, local couch co-op, which is very uncommon nowadays.
Yeah, because of the games that they have now, which is all tethered to the online play.
You're still only using 4 controllers at a time, and I would argue that is probably very seldom, depending on your own habits. But point being, I'm one person. I can only use 1 controller at a time, so it's things like that, right? I've definitely brought those things up before, and that kind of permeates back to what I already have.
But that also shows you that you don't care about PlayStation no more. That also shows you that you don't care about gaming the same way you have done before, Mystic. That's what it indicates. Because like I've told you guys before, if you go back to my concept, I've already had Ocarina of Time. I decided I wanted the gold version because you know why? You know why? Because I loved the game so much. I had so much of a passion for the game. You know, and I think that's where the concept of collecting came from, is the games that we enjoyed, and you just sit back and you're smelling the instruction manual and the cardboard, you know. Oh, y'all never did that? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Hold on. I got some dirty secrets. That's how you know you had a good game back then, when you was sniffing the booklet. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know the good old days when you had to unbox the cardboard and you went... Oh, you took a huge old whiff of that. Yeah. Made you feel like you was inhaling the video game, baby. Yeah, smelling that. Just something they put on that booklet just spoke volumes of quality to me. The colored booklet, you just going through the pamphlet. Like, oh, this is my time. You already know what you're doing, but you just flop through it anyway because it was just a magical experience, baby. You know? Yeah. It was like doing them shrooms back in the days.
Collection, you know, so, and especially like the big box collector's editions, even deluxe editions, like a long time ago, I stopped buying those because they can be just so large and unwieldy. And so
there's really no point, man. If you think about it, there's really no point for him to own that, bro. He probably spent like $100 plus for that, for a game you could play digital for $5. I mean, think about it, man. It's still sealed. You could tell he hasn't opened it. What was the point of buying this? Really think about it, man. Now, if you're a huge fan of it and you want to look at it, that's fine. But if you're not, then what purpose does it really serve?
Those I started getting rid of. You know, things like the I had the God of War Stonemason edition, the 2018 one. That's such a big box. The statue is really cool. Like, I think that stuff's really neat, but it just takes up so much room.
It does,
Same for the Uncharted 4 Libertalia edition. It just doesn't really work out for me. I've still got a handful of ones that I bought from the PS3 days, and those I still love dearly.
I love the PS3 ones. Oh, yeah, the PS3 box covers. Yeah, I got that same box with the Time Crisis. Oh, yeah, those I could settle for those. I just love the big box PS3 games.
Like, I want to hang on to those. And they're not as obnoxious as far as their size, like the Resistance 2 one, the Warhawk one, video games. And that's slowly been happening faster and faster. So it's also like, ooh, I have to be a little bit mindful of where that's going to go in the next 1, 2, 3 years, because it probably is going to get filled up pretty soon.
Especially when you got all these remasters and remakes coming about, bro, and you're just buying the same different versions of Pac-Man World. I only settled for the Switch version and the Xbox One version, all because I could play it on the One and the Series X. I was going to get the PS5 version, but I'm like, it only serves one purpose, which is PS5, and I have a PS4 as well. So I was like, nah, I'd rather settle for the Xbox One, which I do have, and the Series, which I do have. So it served multiple purpose. Switch 1, if I ended up getting the Switch 2, inevitably, hopefully, we don't know. But there you go. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at things to save space, save money, conserve time, all these things. You know what I mean? This all goes into collecting. I don't think a lot of people realize this, But I mean, a lot of those Game Boy games you don't really need. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff, man. I'm really surprised people still paying top dollar for this type of stuff, man. You know, that's why I just came to the conclusion where I'm just happy. I got thousands of games, you know, and thousands of games that I actually enjoy. Luckily, I was one of those people that bought games that I actually want to play. You know what I'm saying? But even then, even games that I do want to play, I still had to cut down very immensely because you know why? I mean, I just opt out for the digital versions half the time.
Point. But anyway, it's the collector's editions that I previously had. I got rid of some of those, and then the controllers too, right? Like I can only use one controller at a time, so I had a lot of the first. It goes without saying, but I play a lot of third-party games on PlayStation, and I don't.
You should have never got rid of the controllers, though. Let me explain, especially the limited edition ones, because I know you saying that you can only play one controller at a time. Maybe they give you a good, pretty value for those. But at the same time, you never know when you need a backup. Those games could all be replaceable. They all could be bought through a sale. A lot of these games are still very much around. But there's one thing, like I've told people, right? If you get an N64 and you want to get nostalgic, get an EverDrive. Don't buy these cartridges. Don't pay $80, $100 for it. Just get an ED64 EverDrive. Get the controller accessories. That's all the nostalgia you need, baby. You don't need nothing else. That's why I try to tell people, get a PS2 with a hard disk drive and download your games and play them that way. You don't need to buy hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars if you want the nostalgia feel. You get what I'm saying? If you want that fun, and it still gives you that nostalgia feel. You got the same controller, playing on the same CRT, you got the AVs. So, like, you get what I'm saying? So you still have your nostalgia, but you also save money, and it's more usable. You know what I mean? Like, I use my modded GameCube more than the GameCube disc because I just play a Pokemon Coliseum or whatever on the damn SD card. I don't even pull up my CD no more, bro. I don't even pull them up. What's the point? Getting them scratched, getting them beat up or whatever. I just, like I said, whatever, right? I don't see the appeal in it.
Do crazy buying on Switch. It's here and there, haphazardly, so I don't really have a big Switch collection, but I will admit, like, I got rid of a lot of third-party Switch stuff, because oftentimes I would already have the game on PlayStation as well.
Oh,
and see? I don't know, my methodology throughout the Switch generation was sometimes games feel more at home on Nintendo, or sometimes I want to play them portably, and that's the big caveat with Switch, is that I primarily play that machine handheld only. So it was always appealing, but like in my sick head, it's like, maybe I want to play this handheld someday.
Yeah,
still want
Switch. I will say when the Switch dropped, I was doing the same thing, picking up the same games. Like I said, I even said at the beginning of the video, picking up the same games and playing it because I, always do see especially if I enjoy the game so much, I will pick up a portable version because why not, right? But he does have a valid point though. He does have a very valid argument because, like I said, I mean, you got people already owning these games on one platform and then they proceed to buy it on another. I mean, I did it with Freedom Wars.
A game with trophies on the big screen on PlayStation. And I don't know, it got to the point where I was like, this seems a little too silly even for me. And that, I think it's fine to just part ways with one half of these. And I'll keep the PlayStation side because that's primarily what I collect for in bulk. That's the big thing.
I think you messed up though. I'm gonna explain why. Because the Nintendo Switch is actually it does have DRM, of course, but the Switch One, you're actually, if anything, you're doing it the opposite. PS5, your purchases is not secure, brother. That disk drive, you got to be synchronized, bruh. What you mean though? You should be buying the Switch One versions, not the PS5. I know if you're talking about what you use, I know what you're saying in that case, but this is my counter argument to that. My counter argument is the fact that at least the game is on the cartridge on the Switch though. PS5, the game could be on the CD, but it's still tethered to that online sync update. And how long is Sony going to continue PS5? Maybe they'll continue for a while. Not saying they're going to discontinue it right away, but for the longevity of your physical game catalog, PlayStation 5 is most definitely not the way.
I think it's fine to just part ways with one half of these, and I'll keep the PlayStation side because that's primarily what I collect for in bulk. That's the big thing in the back.
I don't know why you collected for PS5 in bulk, because PS5 is your worst enemy. It is your worst enemy. At that point, you might as well just keep the Switch One version. But I get it. If that's what you play on the most, it makes sense. But I'm saying in regards to preserving your game collection, the Switch One has that benefit. And that's probably why you subconsciously bought two of them. Because you don't really own it on PlayStation. but you really do own it on Switch, at least as of right now.
Around, and that permeated to some Xbox stuff as well. So it's like there's really just no need to have some of these things unless I need a small selection of games that I might need to record for, but I seldom record on other platforms. So it just didn't really make sense. The collection by way of that, be very picky with controllers unless I'm going to play with them. Very picky with collector's editions unless I
now,
really
mind
like them.
I picked up a few Hyperkin Xbox 360 controllers just because, you know, I really enjoy the 360 controller. Like I said, they still mass produce them, so they're not really going anywhere. But I picked up a few just because if one breaks, I can play the other. The games is actually the least important to me because, I mean, the games is accessible by so many different means. It's not even funny.
Too oversized, but that's sort of where we are. The collection does still grow at a rapid pace. It's just, but I definitely.
You heard it, guys. And the only reason why he's selling it, because you know why? Gaming is not that. I'm not saying it's not that important, but even for myself, it just doesn't have that umph. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. As much as you guys want to say that, oh, my collection's worth, okay, that's fine. But what is it worth to you in your head? At the end of the day, I have very expensive games too. I was playing some on the PS2, but guess what? I enjoy them. Okay, I can turn them on and be happy while I'm playing it. These games, great game actually, mind you, Castlevania, of course. But I'm just saying, in regards to the grand scheme of things, you got people picking up shovelware, you got people picking up trash, claiming that it's collectible, discontinued, rare. That's not what gaming is about, bro. I'm sorry. It's all about fun. It's all about having good games that you like to play. I don't care if it's Madden 94, 95, 96, 97. If those are the games you like to play, that is a collection right there. Okay? We're going based off not valuable. We're going based off if the game's fun with you. Oh, those NFL Blitz games, they worth a lot to me because they worth more, not in monetary value, but they worth a lot to me in sentimental value and the experiences that I've had playing these games and still being able to go back and enjoy them. I think game collectors really have to start thinking to themselves like, hey man, what am I doing? I'm spending a lot of money on these things, bro. A lot. And the sad thing it is, you guys are not enjoying them. You guys know that. That's why you selling them. Me, I just said, hey, I bought a lot. I'm not the type of person to sell my things, so I more likely would keep it. But I just kind of slimmed down. I trimmed down on what I buy. I'm just more selective in what I purchase. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is going to be a very different one for a lot of people. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Like I said, you know, there ain't really much going on. Everybody talking about how the Xbox is not everybody. And it's really not. I mean, at this point, what else is there to really argue? You know what I'm saying? And I know we got a special somebody still tweaking out in this community, like I said. But in regards to everybody else, I'm respecting what people told me not to do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this is a different one for y'all. But I think it was a topic that definitely needed to be talked about. But I will say one thing, physical media is definitely dead. And when you got physical game collectors telling you themselves that they just don't see the appeal of buying physical like they did before, then you know we have a problem. Take care, guys. Peace out.